Parents protesting critical race theory in schools are taking on a new foe. Parent groups are now fighting against suicide prevention programs, mental health coordinators, and social emotional learning. They say they're being used to indoctrinate their kids and ask them invasive questions about their feelings, sexuality, and race. NBC News reporter Tyler Kingkade joins us now. So, Tyler, we saw really how important education in critical race theory was in this month's Virginia gubernatorial race. What's going on now?
Well, a lot of these activist groups are increasingly taking aim at programs designed to address student mental health. In one district in Indiana, for example, activists are demanding that the schools fire their mental health coordinator, calling it a, quote, dangerous job. In Virginia, which you mentioned, parent activists have latched on to surveys that schools use. And these surveys ask kids questions like, do you feel welcome at school? Do you have a trusted adult you can talk to? And some of these surveys also ask students whether they identify as LGBTQ. And that's because schools want to know whether those students in particular are being bullied. But then activists have looked at these surveys and said, this is data mining, and they say the questions are inappropriate for a child to answer.
So, Tyler, some of the parents accuse some of these programs of putting the idea of suicide in their children's heads. How's the community reacting?
Well, we've seen this in a couple different states, and in one state more recently, it's been, there hasn't been any movement in Southlake, Texas, for example, where a mom showed up to a school board meeting and said that a suicide prevention program by its very nature introduces the idea of suicide to kids. But then there was a group out of Utah that earlier this year actually lobbied against a bill to expand suicide prevention to elementary schools. What they said was this is not appropriate for elementary school aged children because suicides are, quote, not happening there, which just isn't true. We got data here at NBC News earlier this year that showed that the rate of children, or the number of children showing up at children's hospitals nationwide, has more than doubled in the last few years. And that was something that started before the pandemic. And of course, throughout the pandemic, that's been an ongoing conversation that we've all had, is what is these school closures, the children staying at home, the lack of social interaction, what has that had on their mental health? So it's incredibly important, and it's just, I think, showing where parents are right now with sort of a distrust of anything schools are doing.
I'm sure we will continue hearing much more about this. NBC's Tyler Kingkade, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.